Alright, so this is an interesting run showing off a level 3 frog. So the frog is an interesting unit because every time it levels up, it does something different. At level 1, it swaps the stats of 2 adjacent pets at the start of battle. At level 2, when you sell it, it swaps the adjacent pets. And at level 3, it does it at the end of the turn in the shop. So, yeah, 3 different versions of the frog, and it's kind of used as a pivot unit. So if you have a really big unit and you get like a tier 6, you can swap the stats over to that tier 6 and hopefully it makes it pretty good. So that's kind of the idea behind this run. If you're watching this right now, I'm probably streaming and also in a tournament, so if you want to check that out, you can. Hopefully I'll do well in that tournament, but you know, who knows. It's not like I'm the best player in the world at this game, but it's also a 1v1 format, so not a lot of arena and versus lobbies, which is what I usually do on stream. Anyway, yeah, if you want to check that out, you can. If you don't want to, then I would not recommend doing that because, I mean, you know what? Why did I say that? Okay, anyway, early capybara is pretty good. Go ahead and sell that otter so the ant doesn't hit it, and buy the capybara because if the ant hits that, that's probably okay. But I have an 8-4 frog right now. It's actually my strongest unit, which is kind of interesting. And getting those +2, +1 buffs, not too bad. Want to make sure that the things don't die to the hedgehog. And the bluebird buff got wasted. Now that it's random, the bluebird definitely has fallen off the tier list quite a bit. No longer super good. There's a loss. All right. Still 0 wins, but that's okay. So kind of the weird thing about frog, I feel like it's just not worth the investment, if I'm going to be honest. It's not that great of a unit where, like, you immediately pivot and you just start winning, because the abilities in this game, even though they're nice, like leopard, gorilla, whatever it is, those are good abilities to have when you have much higher stats. The fact that you have to spend like 9 gold getting this level 2 frog, it makes it pretty tricky to get, and also it's just like it's going to be a weak spot on your team for quite a while, unless if you really get it late, which maybe is the way to go. Maybe you don't even bother with the frog at the start. But right now I have pretty much the frog is my strongest unit. Okay, clownfish is usually worth taking, I feel like. That's like a free pair, but it's turn 5 or 7. Plus, you can just sell it immediately, and it's like a 2 gold pair. Maybe I mentioned this before, but yeah, clownfish is a pretty nice unit to have if you can put it in your team. And then woodpecker or giraffe. Giraffe is better scaling, and since I was planning on going frog, I decided to go with the giraffe, even though woodpecker would probably be better for this turn. Getting this bluebird as buff as possible so I can swap stats with something. That's the plan. And then I guess like ideally I'd get level 3 so it would get an additional buff from the clownfish, but that's a little far-fetched and hopefully, I mean, it would require some good RNG. A second clownfish, alright. And now I can go for this level 2 giraffe, and then giraffe would be my biggest unit. Okay, third clownfish. Clownfish does buff itself, which is pretty nice. I think that makes it like an even better unit. Even if it didn't buff itself, it still might be okay. But the fact that it is able to buff itself, I think makes it pretty strong contender for like a good tier 3. Not going to win this one. All right. And then I have 2 pills frozen. I'm not sure if that's really necessary. It depends on what's in the pack, obviously. Okay, there we go. So +4, +4 is pretty good. Usually they're frozen for blobfish and turtle, and since those things are just so good, I think that it usually makes it so it's worth just freezing pills. But if there are certain things that you want, obviously you don't have to freeze them, and it's not like your chances of seeing pills are super low at this point. If you spend enough gold, you'll probably be able to find a pill. But don't need to worry about that. Looking pretty good. So 15-14 clownfish. Yeah, even though this team doesn't really have any in-game abilities, it's just able to kind of work through it with just stats. And more pills. Hopefully I get this melon armor eventually. Another similar strat that I was kind of doing was going with Tamarin. So Tamarin, when you sell it, it gives some of its stats to the leftmost shot pet. If you freeze something, and then roll, it automatically goes to the most left spot. So you can pretty much buff whatever you want. And if you get a level 3 Tamarin, then when you sell, it gives 150% of its stats. So it's kind of similar to the Panda, which makes it pretty nice. But of course, the problem is getting that level 3 Tamarin. But if you can get a level 3 Tamarin, preferably on turn 9, so that you get an early tier 6, you can immediately get like a 50-50 tier 6. And it's pretty cool. Similar idea. Actually, it's probably even more cool than Frog, to be honest. Frog, it's underwhelming. So early tier 6 is a reindeer. That is a great unit for sure, but I'm a little unsure what to do at this point because everything on my team feels like it's doing something. I want the blobfish pill onto the reindeer. Try to get it to level 2. Cow, and you would think put it on the reindeer, but since I'm swapping the stats with the frog, yeah, with the clownfish stats are going to go onto the reindeer, so instead go ahead and put those stats onto the clownfish. And there's a crow. Do I go with the crow just to guarantee the level up? No, just instead roll into chocolate. It's that easy. So there we go, there's the level 3 frog ability. It's I guess that's cool. I got a 2021 reindeer. It's not exactly like a just instant win. It does have free melon armor, and you can see that it definitely helps out quite a bit there. But, I mean, was it worth it? Not really. Gotta be honest. It's a little underwhelming, but there we go. An additional +6/+6 because of clownfish is very nice. And then this team actually like magically fits for Husky. You don't see Husky used too often, but for some reason it's in this pack. This is mostly a sniping pack. You can probably tell somewhat because like there's just so many snipers. I don't know, maybe you can't tell. Maybe you're just not paying attention to the things at all because I'm not really paying attention to them at all. But yeah, Husky buffs everything that does not have food, and since the reindeer doesn't have melon armor until in battle, this like works perfectly. Some nice little synergy. And it gets double melon armor, solos that entire team. It's perfect. In fact, I can even go level 2 Husky here, and I can take a chicken leg that gives +3/+3 to any unit of your choosing, which is pretty nice. I honestly think like yeah, it's a pretty nice advantage. I mean, you don't really see it too often because it's only used in custom packs, but it is really pretty cool. And then I'm debating. I feel like this is a mistake, honestly, because the reindeer is just better right now. Like dealing 15 damage to one unit versus getting 2 melon armors. There's no, yeah, it's definitely like way worse, and I think I might lose this round because of it. So probably just should have invested in the reindeer, but you know what's more fun than reindeer? It's leopard, and preferably tiger leopard. That's what's really fun. Uh, and then I can swap the stats. So with level 3 frog, you can swap the stats multiple times. You can just keep doing it. I didn't do it here, but I should have. I could have gotten 4 more health on the reindeer instead. Swap the stats of the clownfish and the reindeer. Not that it probably matters, but still. Level 2 reindeer, 2 melon armors. Pretty good. Okay, yeah, I decided to do it here. Go for that level 3 leopard. Unfortunately, since I put melon armor, it means the Husky's no longer buffing it. But once I swap the stats of these 2 units, I can sell the clownfish. Okay, a little surprising. Just go ahead and sell the Husky right now. Take a hot dog. It hits the perfect units, actually, because the clownfish is going to swap stats, and it hits the leopard, so that's exactly what I wanted. And there we go. Unfortunately, the penguin hit the clownfish instead of the reindeer, but that's okay. Their strongest unit was one shot. That's pretty nice. And that Spinosaurus was buffing a bee. Interesting. And now, alright, so the clownfish. Do I bother with chicken leg? Sure, why not? And I could buy another penguin here. Sure. It doesn't really matter where the frog is. I guess you do have to kind of position because you don't want to accidentally swap the stats of 2 good units. But yeah, swapping the stats of 2 penguins that have the exact same stats. That's the real usefulness of frog level 3 right there. It's just like a useless unit, but it is a 2620. I don't even know how it got that big, but it's doing something. There's 9 wins, and perfect. So there is level 3. I get another leopard even, but don't need that. And can try to get a level 2 tiger, but not going to be able to do it this turn. And since I'm on lethal and I'm also on 9 wins, this is looking like the last turn. I'm glad I was able to get the level 3 leopard with the tiger behind it. That's 4 damage, 4 times 25, 100 damage worth of stuff. And you can see, killed 4 things on their team. Whole bunch of things got spawned. Vulture in the 2nd spot, Turkey in the 4th spot, and it just holds the entire team. So there we go. There's just a little showcase of the frog. It's so sad because it's so bad. But still, I wanted to try it out, and it's kind of interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching. See ya.